Hello, and welcome to another one of my studio vlogs. So last time I gave you a little tour of my voiceover setup, which I hope you enjoyed, and this time I am bringing you my top 10 voiceover tips to make your audio sparkle. So in at number 1 is hydrate. I know it sounds obvious and none of us drink as much as we should, but the old H2O, we need to keep our bodies hydrated. It's really important for all of our muscles, regardless, for anything that we do in our lives, but especially for our voices. Make sure that you drink lots of water throughout the day. You've got water in the booth with you, obviously making sure that you don't spill it on any of your equipment, because then that's a bit of a nightmare. But keep hydrated. Number 2. If you can, try and avoid dairy or caffeine when you're voicing. This is hard because I'm a sucker for a coffee and a cup of Yorkshire tea, but you really should try and avoid them because they dry out the mouth, and if you have too much dairy, the worst thing you can have is like a hot chocolate with like foamy cream all over the top of it. It makes your mouth really clacky, and it'll pick up on the microphone. So you really need to avoid those kind of things. As I said, if you're drinking lots of water, that's gonna help combat that, but it's a really bad idea to have like a latte before you go into a session. If you're going to a studio, they normally offer you a tea or a coffee. Ask for I like a mint tea. I find those fruit teas a bit of a letdown. They smell gorgeous like Ribena, and then you get them and you're like, ugh. So I always ask for either a mint tea or a hot water with a bit of lemon in it. Always good. Or failing that, just hot water. That's also good. Tip number 3, apples. Oh, I love an apple. Apples are brilliant. If you have that clacky thing going on your mouth that I mentioned to you when you have too much dairy, sometimes you don't have to have had dairy for it to, you know, sometimes you get that. An apple, I don't know what it is about an apple, but it kind of cuts through it. Have a bite of an apple before a session. Obviously, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, as they say, so they're good for you, but really good thing to have a bowl of apples in your studio. If you just have a little munch on when you think your voice needs a little bit of a freshen up, and they taste yum. This one might not be immediately obvious, but dress appropriately. Now, if you're voicing from home, to be honest, you can wear what you want. There are plenty of us voiceovers who voice in their pyjamas. I've done that. I've even voiced in a bikini when it was outrageously hot. Obviously, if you're going to a studio, I don't think you can get away with wearing pyjamas or a bikini, but dress appropriately. When you voice, you get quite hot, so make sure you wear layers. So as you get warmed up, you can strip off. Also worth bearing in mind that a lot of studios in London or wherever you go to for a session, the air conditioning in those booths is very strong, so it can get quite cold in there. So make sure you're layered up. You can always strip off if you get too hot, but dress appropriately for your session in the booth. Jewelry. Be very aware of what you're wearing. Now, I'm not somebody who wears a lot of jewelry. I have a watch which doesn't move, and I have rings which obviously don't move, but a lot of people have lots of jingly jangly bracelets and stuff that go on. You can be very immune to them when you wear them so much, but make sure that if you have lots of jewelry on, you take it off before every session. If you forget to take it off, you will be reminded, and it's just a bit embarrassing. So if you've got any jingle jangle jewelry, big hooped earrings, anything like that, take it off. Another one, smell nice. You can smell to high heaven of BO, whatever you want in your own booth. Not that I recommend that, I think that's pretty gross, but particularly if you're going to a session where you're meeting clients or a producer, make sure you smell nice. Body check yourself, you know, you might need to do a little bit of a sniff test, make sure that you smell nice. You've got to do this. Also, don't over perfume. If you're at risk of being one of those people who kind of splashes on a little bit too much Old Spice, don't put it on. There's nothing worse for a client to be bombarded by your smell when you walk in. Also, if you're in a session at a studio and you leave that booth, you then leave this room with like this overwhelming smell of perfume or aftershave, which isn't nice. So just be aware of how you smell. Don't smell bad, and don't smell like you've just come out of like a poodle parlor, okay? That's my tip. Smell right. Moving on to some practical advice, and this is a really big one, guys. Listen. Our job is to talk, to voice. But actually, the first thing we should be doing is listening. Listening to the director, listening to the producer, listening to the client, whoever you're in the session with. Listen to what they want. They've hired you because of various ways that you sound, whether you've sent in a demo, where maybe they've just listened to your show reel and they've booked you off that. But you need to listen to them to find out exactly how they want you to voice whatever you're voicing. The keys and all the clues to how you're going to be delivering your performance are from the client. Also worth bearing in mind that what may not be nice to your ear may be perfect to the client. So just because it might not sound right to you, if the client loves it, the client knows best. Go with the client. But listen and ask questions if you're not quite sure. If you want to say, let's give a couple more options, give them a couple of options and listen to their feedback. Big tip. Before you talk, listen. This is screamingly obvious regardless of what profession you are in, but be on time. Whether you've got a session in your own studio or if you're going somewhere else to attend a session, be on time, and to be perfectly honest, be early, because if you're early, then you're on time. If for whatever reason you've been stuck in traffic, your trains are late, your dog's eaten your keys, call ahead, somehow get a message ahead, be courteous and let them know you're running late. It's really important. People just hate it when people don't turn up and then they turn up kind of 20 minutes late. Don't forget, your people are paying for studio time. So if you turn up late, that's 15-20 minutes of a whole hour that they're paying for that studio hire. So be on time. Be nice. Be nice. When you're nice to people, they're nice to you. So as well as delivering a great performance for whatever you're doing, if you're a nice person and you have fun with the client and you're pleasant, they will book you. People in our industry are quite fickle. It's, yes, they will book people who are extremely talented, but if that person is a little bit awkward, doesn't have many social skills and causes a few problems, they're great, but they may be reluctant to book them again. If you're talented, and you really bring a lot of warmth and energy and friendliness to this session, and you really work with the client well, you are going to be booked time and time again. Okay, last tip, and it's probably the most important one, regardless actually of whatever industry you are in, but be you. It's really important. In this day and age, there are too many people who are really fake. And you can spot a faker a mile off. And it's really important to be you. Be authentic. Be how you are. When you're marketing yourself, in communication via email or telephone, when you're demoing for jobs, when you've booked a job, be you throughout the whole thing. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and sound like somebody else. The way you deliver something is very, very personal. And when you get booked for a job, it's because of the way that you have delivered the demo. Or they might have booked you just off the back of your show reel and how you specifically sound on your show reel. And that's like a mini celebration right there. That's like a little kind of heel click moment, because you have got that job. If we all sounded the same, if we all looked the same, if we all did everything the same, it'd be a pretty boring world. So just be you, be real, be genuine, be authentic. And when you are, and you bring talent to the party as well, you are going to be booked time and time again. So please don't try and copy other people. Just be you. And you know what? You will get work from just being your beautiful self. So there you go, that's my top 10 voiceover tips. I hope you found it vaguely interesting and useful. I will be doing more of these studio vlogs. If there is anything you'd like me to discuss, please drop me a line, either via this video on the YouTube channel, or you can get in touch via my website, which is sarahseeley.com. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.